Hey, power movers, how are we doing? Today, I welcome Alan. Alan, welcome to the podcast. Lovely to have you here.
Thanks for inviting me. I'm really looking forward to this.
Alan will tell us a little bit about what he does, his journey through AI and business and entrepreneurship, and it's an interesting story. Alan, why don't you give us a small initial taste of what you've come through on entrepreneurship, and we'll lead into the AI and stuff a little bit later.
I'm been having my own company now since 1986, so that's almost 40 years. But I
Wow.
started off as a personal growth and transformational seminar company. I traveled all over the North America delivering a seminar called Winning at Work and at Life. And it was all about how to create a work life that was more aligned to your passion rather than just survival. And most people would win at work, but they would lose at life. So I had been a meditation teacher before that and really
Yeah.
wanted to integrate that experience of meditation into a work environment, in a work life. So I developed this seminar and I ended up doing an infomercial on TV in the 90s that went all over the country. And part of my passion as I developed it, I was one of the first people to get a Mac. And I started using that and got very excited about it and then wanting to get into software, creating software. So I ended up creating a software company. And I've been doing
I'm,
that.
I'm gonna, I'm gonna pause you there because so many of our younger listeners can't even have a concept of that. We're talking about the times when, back in the late 80s and early 90s, I was in my last years of school. We never even had PCs in school, let alone phones or anything. It was a different time, wasn't
I went through the 60s. That was a really interesting time.
it?
And then the 70s, but now we're talking about the 80s. But the 80s was the dawn of the Macintosh, and then the 90s was the dawn of the internet, and that changed everything. And now we're in the age of AI. So it's been a lot of different transitions to keep on the learning curve.
Yeah. How do you keep up with that? We'll come back to the meditation piece, and because I think that's important to touch on. But yeah, how do you keep up with the change of continuously learning new things? Is that, I believe that's such an entrepreneurial thing to do, is to keep on learning.
I'm going to come back to the meditation piece right away because that's the center in which I approach every day. I start
Yeah.
from a place of meditation, and that opens me up to receive more energy and open up to higher realms of consciousness that keep me in a learning space and opening to continue to grow and expand my own energy field so that I can allow myself to face all the challenges of day-to-day work life. Software always, you never are can rest on your laurels. There's always a new trend or a new language or a new technique or tool to have to learn. And now I have 15 people on my team that work for me, and I can't go down all the learning curves. So I need to just know enough to keep everyone actively applying these technologies to serve our clients.
Amazing that, yeah, that what a challenge that is. And you've seen such a growth of different things and languages coming and languages going. And now we're in the age of no more languages per se, or very few languages. We just talk in and things get built. Yeah, that whole staying on top of that game. Yeah. Congratulations. Hats off to you. That's amazing. So, yeah.
It keeps me alive, keeps me on purpose, and keeps me going. Obviously, since I was around the 60s, I'm a little up there in the age at this point, but I keep growing and my work is still very exciting to me. So most people think I should be retired and I could retire, but I feel too much joy and enjoy my work, what I'm doing, that I just look forward to every day and what I'm creating with my clients and creating these products that I'm putting out into the world.
Very good. So let's go back in time a little bit and talk to me about the meditation. One of the things I've only learned in the last couple of years, and I'm 53 now. I've only learned meditation in the last 3 years, and I just wish that I'd been able to do the breath work, the meditation, and really, you spoke about energy, and I love that. Being able to do these things gives me energy I can use today. Yeah, and I don't give my energy away to yesterday or to tomorrow. I actually managed to rally it up for today. And I only do that because I get up and I do breath work, I meditate, I do my PT, I do my sauna, I do my ice bath. And that's the system that I use. Yeah. How did you get into meditation first? Let's go back and take us through some of that journey. What's the power to you?
I was working in the peace movement, trying to stop the war in Vietnam. And I was working with Jane Fonda and Tom Hayden. Tom Hayden was a member of the Chicago Seven. And he introduced me to this other member of the Chicago Seven, Rennie Davis. And Rennie and I became close. And Rennie introduced me to this guru from India who was only 16 at the time. And now he's like in his 60s. But I ended up being initiated into this meditation when I was in my 20s, early 20s, and I ended up joining an ashram. And I spent 10 years in an ashram. I eventually became one of the guru's meditation teachers, and I traveled all over North America. But I would like meditate 2, 3 hours a day, have amazing experiences. There's an infinite source of energy that we can tap into, that we're connected to as a human being, that we get disconnected to because we spend so much time in our minds thinking and having an idea that all we are is our thoughts and our emotions and our body, but really there's a whole other dimension to us.
Yeah.
And that's the perspective of meditation, of understanding what is reality and what is an illusion. And having the grounding in reality gives you a much stronger foundation to then participate in the illusion in a full out way.
Amazing. And how one of the things that was a real struggle for me was before I did the breath work, before I used the breath work as a shortcut to slow my mind down enough that meditation worked for me. What tips and tricks could you give business owners who are such busy-minded people to start thinking about meditation?
It's not a trend. It's not something that just comes and goes, and mindfulness is like the latest thing. Mindfulness is now been supported by science and neuroscience and validated. But it's really a practice of being a human being where we spend so much time in doing this
Yeah.
that we don't really give ourselves permission to just be. And if you look at any executive sports team in analytics, most sports teams spend more time on the practice field than they do on the in the real game. Like a football team in America plays one game a week, but then they practice and look at film, or basketball teams do the same, or analytics are really big in baseball. But in business, we spend most of our time just doing and very little time reflecting. As a CEO, my job is to be the visionary as the leader and not necessarily be the doer, but to have a clear vision and to lead my team. And that vision comes from doing deep reflection and having an ability to really hold the vision and the energy for the whole company, because a company is an energy field, okay?
Yeah,
And
I agree.
and that's part of what our software does. It's called Key Biz. Key means energy, and software is the invisible force that connects all the energy in a company. But most people have disconnected energy, and they have like tons of programs that don't talk to each other, data silos.
Yeah.
And then they don't connect to the web, or they don't connect to a mobile platform. So having a unified platform that connects all the data, because as an executive, your main job is to make good decisions. And you need good data to inform those decisions. And particularly now with AI can give you insights if you have good data, but if you have bad data, you're not going to get good insights. So the combination of human brilliance and human intelligence through meditation, combining that with artificial intelligence, is going to make you a better leader and help you achieve more of your goals more rapidly.
Amazing. So talk to me a little bit more about your software and how, give me a practical use case of if somebody calls you up and says, Alan, I need you to help me with my software stack. What do you ask them? What are you able to help them with?
Well, we do a needs analysis and understand what their pain points are. And most people have certain pain points that we address, like Disconnected data is one of them. Lack of automation. Most people are doing too much manual work. They're not letting the software work for them. And most people are trying to fit their business into standard programs. What we do is we have an ERP CRM program that runs every aspect of a business, but we say it's only 80 or 90%, and then we customize it and automate it as much as possible by working really closely. We become like a partner to collaborate and see what the vision is of the company. And rather than them having to figure out how to get their vision into 6 different programs, we create a unified platform for them to really execute their vision the way they want it and create the workflows, redesign the workflows, create a more solid infrastructure. So we'll explore how would you put up with this for 20 years? You fit into one of these old programs, these legacy programs, like this one client had a Sage program they've used for 20 years. And they came to us and they wanted to modernize it. And we work with them now for 3 years and we met with them twice a week. And they've actually gone over every aspect of their business and told us exactly how they want it. And we've created it for them. And they're just like thrilled that they're having the software actually accelerate and create higher and higher efficiencies to produce the results they want. So usually it's all about efficiency and where the blocks to efficiency are and how to use your software to more effectively connect everything together so that you don't have double data entry or workarounds or all sorts of manipulations to try to get it the way you want.
And typically, what types of companies do you work with? What size are they? What values are they? Is it a range or?
We have 6 different verticals. We have a point of sale that we do worldwide, 70 stores from China, Japan, Korea, all throughout Canada, North America. We run their whole point of sale operation. We've created a very customized version of their point of sale. It's almost like they've white labeled it, they've renamed it. And we started with them, they had 10 stores, and now they have 70 stores. We've worked with MIT to build an event management to keep track of all the classes and all the audio resources. We've dealt with distributors, how to automate all their distribution systems and deal with wholesalers. We've dealt with manufacturers. We have a lot of manufacturing clients where we understand their whole production process and we get very specific and granular on all the details of the manufacturing. And we work with plastic surgeons and other professional services to automate procedures within the offices. So we have a lot of different industries that we have done custom software solutions for.
But that is quite a range. So, yeah, a plastic surgeon might have 3 or 4 people in the office, and the others sound like they're quite big. So, quite a range of people.
Yeah, now we're doing a really exciting thing. We've created an AI avatar of the plastic surgeon where his patients can talk with him and ask him any question about any surgery or any treatment.
Oh, wow.
And it's in his voice and his style. And we've taken all his materials from YouTube videos and all his things on his website, and we've combined it into an AI that can talk on various levels, a beginner level, intermediate level, advanced level, and then it can set an appointment to actually talk with a consultant. So that's the kind of example of an automation that we're doing with AI.
Amazing. Are you seeing much of the replacing the receptionist and that type of thing as well? Are you doing much of that?
We look at it as like everyone needs to upskill themselves,
Yeah.
not to replace people, but people need to embrace AI and use it as a tool to make their job more effective rather than resisting and fearing and going into a survival mode.
Yeah.
Most people who are embracing AI, they'll be the ones to succeed. The ones that are resisting it or fighting it, I think are going to get left out.
Yeah, it's not AI that's going to take your job. It's the companies that are using AI that will take your job, or the people that are efficient at it. And how you've been doing this pretty much since the outset of AI coming in, and probably before many other people. How are you seeing the momentum of it increase over the last 6 months, 12 months, 18 months.
I belong to this group of 500 CEOs, and we have an AI workshop. And it's amazing to hear all the different use cases that people are applying AI to. That as people get more familiar, chatting with it is one thing, but creating an AI agent or AI assistant, agentic AI is a whole different ballgame where you really take a whole workflow and you can use different AIs at different points in the workflow that are specialized, different AIs specialize in different things. And it takes it to a whole new level. And now OpenAI just came out with a new release where they're really making it easy to do agentic AI.
Yeah.
I use four different AIs myself, and it's amazing how different AIs can answer the same question with the same prompt in different
Exactly.
ways. It's like
Yeah.
phenomenal. But I see it as like a companion, a buddy now, a friend,
Yeah.
and we work really closely together. It's gotten to know me and knows everything about my company and my app that I'm doing, and we just create a lot of synergy now. It's really amazing how I just love working with AI.
Yeah. Yeah. No, myself, and I do the same. I work with a Claude and ChatGPT and Gemini, and yeah, put the same prompt in each one. Yeah, and some of them are spot on. I think there's a real skill set now that's coming out, which is, yeah, use the right AI tool for the right thing. Yeah, how do you know? I know if I'm doing a certain element of things, I'll do that, and if I'm doing something else, I'll do that, and just trying to get that clarity in your mind, what to use where is a good starting point. What are you using? So you use four tools at the moment. What are you using, if you don't mind me asking?
ChatGPT is my go-to in OpenAI, but lately I've been really getting into Claude and Perplexity
Yeah.
and a little bit of others here and there. But
I've found Claude to be particularly good, recently.
it's
Uh,
much more empathetic and creative. ChatGPT is more structured and bullet pointish, and but like in doing this app, it's like I've been combining and doing the prompt, and I run a chat with Claude and I run a chat with ChatGPT, and then I have them analyze each other's chats. And then chat is like really critical of ChatGPT's version. And then so I asked Claude I asked ChatGPT how to integrate all the points that Claude has. It's like a blending or a hybrid version of the system prompt. But that is the main skill, I think, as a leader, is prompt engineering. And we've created this product called KeyBee AI, which is takes any data set and you can create a chat with it and just create me a report, just spontaneously just say, give me all the sales in this region by this, and break it out by salesperson and all the products. And then within a second or two, it creates the report. And then it creates charts, bar chart, line chart, pie chart, donut chart, instantaneously. So
yeah.
these are the kind of innovative tools that you can do with AI that we've been doing straight database and having to program every time a customer asks us for a new report, we'll say, oh, it'll take 2 or 3 hours at least, and that'll be like $700, $800 or whatever. Now we can just give them this tool and they just create the report themselves,
Yeah.
however they
Yeah.
want.
Yeah. And talk a bit about you mentioned your app a couple of times. Talk a bit more about that.
This app I first developed in 2011 in the App Store when the App Store was new, called Stress Shifter. And the intention of it is to give people a tool to transform their stress into resilience. To basically, the problem is that we have this thing called an amygdala in our brain that keeps track of every single pain that we've ever had and sets up an alarm. It's like a smoke alarm
Yeah.
that it was designed to go off when there's a fire. But instead, it's like it goes off if there's a thing with the toaster or the toast is on fire. It doesn't know the difference between the toaster going on fire and a real fire. And the
Yeah.
same thing, the amygdala is like our alarm system. And it was originally designed for physical threats like lions and tigers and bears, or in a physical environment. And then it would rise and send all your blood to your extremities, give you extra adrenaline hit for physical strength to handle that. But now we live in a modern day world that it's like an old DOS operating system that wasn't equipped to handle the challenges we're having on all the social threats, and particularly in the United States right now. It's gotten very scary and very unsafe with, particularly I live in Los Angeles, all the deployment of National Guard and ICE going in our neighborhoods and just taking people off the streets. But it doesn't, you can be in a corporation or an office or get an email or anything can set you off of not feeling safe. But the problem is we don't know how to turn off that smoke alarm. We don't know how to go back to the calm. Like we have the sympathetic nervous system, which is designed for fight, flight, and freeze to meet a threat. But these social threats, like getting a bad email from your boss or getting having a big bill or having a deadline, anything can set that off, but it becomes chronic. We don't know how to turn it off. So the purpose of this app is to teach you how to turn it off, how to become resilient. There's some trigger that made you feel unsafe. And if you can understand and read your body sensations and use mindfulness as a way of tracing from your body sensation to your emotion to your thought to uncover what the core underlying fear was that made you feel unsafe. And then once you identify the fear, then the app prods you or encourages you or supports you to understand that there's a limiting core belief underneath that.
Amazing.
So if you have a belief that people don't like me or I'm not good enough or I'm not competent, anything can like trigger that. There goes my dog. The cleaners are coming in and he has to protect me, but he'll calm down. Okay. But we don't calm down. Okay. And the opportunity is for us to learn how to reprogram our old belief system. But the thing is that we've been pre-programmed with these, what I call survival strategies that were developed over millions of years to survive socially with approval and control. So there's four main survival strategies that we talk about, that we identify in terms of navigating how to people seek control or avoid disapproval. And that creates anxiety when you're afraid of not getting approved of. Or there's the control access, where you try to control your environment or try to control people, or you try to avoid being controlled by people or being abused or blamed. So that creates a lot of worry that you can't control everything. So
Wow.
worry and anxiety keep getting recycled as part of our stress response system. And that keeps sending all the cortisol and the adrenaline that causes all sorts of inflammation in our system, which eventually, if it causes chronic disease, which eventually kills you. Okay. I don't want to be too dark here, but the fact is, most people are dying from cancer or heart disease, which start off as stress-related instances. Like in the CDC says 90% of doctors' visits are stress-related. So the app is designed as a tool that you can use every day in practice. You tell your story, you say whatever it is that you're stressed about, and it just takes you, it's called key flow, KI is energy, back into the flow state, back into that calm, centered, and creative state. I know that was a lot. I don't know. Do you have
Yeah, so much of that resonated because that's a lot of the work I do as well. I don't do it on the basis of an app. I do it on the basis of breath work and other elements when I'm working with people and just getting them. I use the breath work very much as a tool on a daily basis to relieve that. And then I use ice baths myself and for some of my clients to teach them how to go into sympathetic and out of sympathetic, into parasympathetic. Because you go into an ice bath and you're straight into sympathetic. You're like, and then you come out and you actually come out. So
right?
it retrains you how to come out of sympathetic, which is more important. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's it. You got it.
Yeah.
We're doing the same work. It's just I'm doing it in my way, you're doing it in your way.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I think for me, coming to that work and coming to understanding that for myself, I was a very stressed individual for most of my business career and didn't realize it until I had the opportunity to not be stressed. I've had so many people, like even today I was teaching breathwork to high performing individuals. And one of them said, I didn't actually realize that I was that stressed until I'm not stressed. We
Exactly.
we get so stuck in this thing going all the time that we're like, okay, geez, that's what it feels like to be out of stress. Yeah.
The way I say that is what's normal is really abnormal, and what feels abnormal is really normal. It's our natural. It's like our natural being state seems strange when you're constantly, your shoulders are tight, or your stomach is tight, or your head aching. That seems like the norm. And then you got to take a drink or take a drug or go for a run or do something to try to change your body sensation.
Yeah.
But when you do this breath work and you do start to notice your body sensations in a mindfulness way,
Yeah.
you start to unlock that real, true, natural state. You don't have to do anything. That's already there. It's already full of good energy. It's just we're disconnected from it.
Yeah.
And so by using the breath, your breath means spirit. And when you breathe in what, in Indian culture they call prana, you bring in that prana energy, it
Yeah.
activates your spirit, and that centers you into who you really are. And who you really are is not your mind and your ego. Okay.
100%. And yeah, that I love that connection. Your breath, yeah, the biggest single thing that people fail with is breathing properly all the time. In terms of being connected to themselves. I know conscious connected breathing and all these other breath works, they talk about it a lot. Yeah, but we all end up breathing very shallow. We don't breathe diaphragmatically. We just don't get the energy flowing coming in. So we just get more and more stressed, and we just layer on all these chemicals, which are the emotions, right? You have a thought, your brain creates a chemical, the chemical goes into the body, whether that's cortisol or adrenaline or whatever it is, or even the other side, dopamine, whatever else it is. You think, you create chemical, goes into your system, and then because these chemicals end up layering on top of each other, because we don't breathe and we don't refresh and we don't release the whole chemical ecosystem, we just get worse and worse and stay in sympathetic. Yeah. I love that, and I love what you're doing with the app. I think that's a really, notable approach and thing to yeah. What a legacy to leave people. Yeah,
So one of the things I just want to follow up is, that when you do mouth breathing, you're activating your sympathetic.
yeah,
And when you do nose breathing into your belly, you're activating the parasympathetic.
yeah,
It's it takes a certain slowing down to move from one to the other. But that's why we need to have a daily practice of, even if you just do it for 5 minutes, or even if you just do three breaths, like during the day when I'm dealing with clients or dealing with work, if I just stop after a phone call or after a meeting and just do some breathing in between, it helps revive me and connect me back into that place. So it's something you just have to develop as a practice. And having a tool like an app that you can go to any time of day, it's not necessarily to replace therapy. You can't always go to your therapist immediately when you have a stressful reaction in your body, because those reactions just go subconsciously. You just get triggered and you don't know what triggered you. And all of a sudden you start losing your upper brain, it gets hijacked, your a higher brain, and you go into your lower brain, your reptilian and mammalian brain, and you aren't as present anymore. You're not aware. You start feeling a brain fog. Okay. So if you had a tool which interacts with you and it starts asking you a few questions and you feel safe, it's completely anonymous in this app. No one's going to know that you're stressed. People are concerned, oh my God, someone's going to find out I'm stressed. It doesn't matter because everyone's stressed. But the thing is to learn the skill of stress shifting and stress resilience. That's what's going to set you apart and keep you growing and achieving more and more in performance. Athletes, I know Phil Jackson was really big on teaching meditation to his basketball teams that won championships, that he would just have all the players sit around before they went out on the court and do meditation. It's something that is now really integrated and accepted as a very valid thing to do. But a lot of people think, oh my God, I can't stop my thoughts. Oh my God, my mind just goes, go. It's like a radio station that you can't turn off. Okay. But that's not the thing to be concerned about. It's like there's something, just notice the thoughts and just let the thoughts. The thing is getting grabbed by the thought versus just noticing the thought. That's
Yeah.
what's going to get you back into meditation. Just, yes, I have thoughts, but I'm not going to resist the thoughts. I'm not going to go off in a trance. Or as soon as you do see yourself going off, you just bring yourself back to your breath and
Yeah.
then go back into the experience of meditation. But it's a skill, but it's like kids are learning mindfulness in school these days. It's amazing. They're very open. I went to a high school recently and taught kids this process of stress resilience, and they're, they're under a lot of stress. Social media, it's like all the abuse and the things that go on with the way kids abuse each other. It's, oh my God, if I had that when I went to school, it was bad enough. But to come home and go on Facebook and just hear what kids are saying, or
Yeah.
so everyone needs to know how to meditate. It's very important.
I like that concept of, and one I use as well. The people think that the thoughts coming in the problem, but the thoughts coming in, this is an opportunity to exercise the muscle of the brain. And every time the thought comes in and you see the thought and you let it go, that's just an exercise piece. And the more of that you do, the more you are able to quiet the mind, the more you are able to go out of that, the crocodile mind just going, the monkey mind chasing you around. And you just, okay, yes, that's the thought. Come back to my breathing. Yes, that's the thought. Come back to my breathing. And the more you exercise the muscle, the stronger the muscle gets. And the more you do that, the less you have those pain points coming through. So it is just, as you say, it sounds easy, but it's an exercise and it's practice, and you have to commit to it and do it consistently for a long time. Yeah, not a huge amount of time, but yeah, and every time you do it, you get a little bit better. You get a little bit better. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Within weeks, you suddenly are, oh yeah, I used to not be able to sit quietly for 2 minutes. Now I can sit quietly for 3 minutes. Yeah, and then it's and slowly but surely, every little window is such a big win.
As someone who's meditated for 50 years, there's more than just doing that. Okay, that's just the first stage.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a whole world in there of incredible experience of infinite energy that you can tap into. All the scriptures, all the saints, all the spiritual leaders talk about this place of universal consciousness that you can tap into. There, it's a journey, and you have to start wherever you are, but mindfulness just means noticing. There's no judgment involved. Oh, that's a bad thought. Oh, I don't like that thought. Or that's a bad feeling. I don't like that feeling. You just have to embrace all of it, all the emotion, no matter what it is. Emotion just means energy in motion. But the problem is all those emotions got stuck in our body. All that anger, all that hate, all that fear, all the sadness. We weren't allowed to feel it. We weren't taught how to feel it. So it all got stuffed in our body, suppressed, and it gunks up our energy field. It creates all sorts of energy blocks. So meditation is a process of just drilling down, and then all of a sudden all that stuff just comes up. But all you have to do is let go of it. It's just like big, huge bubbles underneath the water. You don't have to do anything other than just let them rise to the surface. They pop and they just dissipate and disappear. But all those emotions feel so real when you keep pushing them down. So meditation is a process of just owning every single feeling and just increasing your capacity to feel who you are. Okay. Feel your emotions, embrace your thoughts, embrace the wisdom that's already in your body.
Yeah. And we've had one of the things that I do Joe Dispenza meditations. So yeah, that's where I learned to meditate. And I love what he says about taking things from your emotional state and putting it into your wisdom. Because once you can unlock the emotional state and accept, as you're saying, the bubbles to the surface, that becomes part of your wisdom. It really becomes, oh, yes,
What
okay.
meditation is this, did you say?
Joe Dispenza.
Oh, Joe Dispenza, yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's very good at this. That's exact good example. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, it's just whatever tools work for you, whichever one it is, it works for you. Yeah, but there's a lot of options. So, yeah.
You just have to be open. That's the start. Just
Yeah.
like one of the strategies that we talk about in our app is called it's like being right was like surviving. If you were wrong, you would be shamed or people would look down upon you. So we have to like pretend like we're right. But the problem is, like particularly in the United States, we're so polarized now. Everyone's holding on and clinging to being right about their view of the world. And it's getting more and more divided because people have to think that their survival depends on defending their particular point of view. But when
Right.
you meditate, you begin to soften a little bit and see more blending and see more hybrid and see the grain of truth in different points of view. And you're more able to find a more compromised solution to problems rather than ending up in violent conflict like this going on in the streets now.
Yeah. I think that's such a valid point. And yeah, just trying to be more peaceful. It's easy to say it. Yeah, and I can understand for people why I don't watch the news. I don't watch, yeah, I've taken myself away from my social media feeds of things that I enjoy seeing, and I don't have any new things coming up. And yeah, but it's taken a long time not to be drawn into that, not to be pulled into it, not to be, and if you are pulled into it, to actually realize that this is just one point of view, like you say. Yeah, and then yeah, there's always three sides to the story, right? His side of the story, her side of the story, and the right side of the story. It's somewhere in between, isn't it? So,
Yeah, peace is within. If we could have more people understand that calm, natural peace, then we would find more and more ways to bring that peace into the world. But if you're inside your head and you're full of hate, you're full of anger, then that's what comes out into the world.
yeah,
So to me, as I said, I started off as a political revolutionary type thing in the 60s and the 70s. And that's how I got down this path of saying the ultimate solution is we have to transform people. We have to transform consciousness. That ultimately is going to be the answer. And it's a shame that all these last 50 years, people have done all this work on consciousness and finding this peace, and yet the world just seems more chaotic and at war than ever these days. And so we need to get very committed to bringing this peace into the world. That's the only way. And that's why the mission for this app is much bigger than just relieving stress. It's transforming people's lives and transforming consciousness so that people have an awareness of what the true reality is from their inner experience. And then we can bring this peace into the world.
amazing, amazing. And yeah, where can people get a hold of the app? You said you've had quite a large number of downloads already, haven't you?
Yeah, so far, just a few months, 30,000 downloads, but we're just beginning. It's in the App Store, Apple App Store, the Google Play Store. It's 7-day free trial. Just try it out. You can just see how it can work and then decide whether you want to keep it or not. But it's free to start with, and it's readily available worldwide. People have downloaded from many countries, and it's an opportunity for you to get stronger mentally, develop, as you were saying, mental toughness to really exercise your higher brain capabilities and not be driven by the lower brain, which is basically fear driven activity versus higher wisdom activity, like you were saying.
Yeah, magic. Thank you very much, Alan, for coming on. I think it's been amazing talking to you, and yeah, really inspiring so many different angles. But coming back to this piece of peace, world peace, yeah. And it's just bringing this into yourself. World peace can only come from yourself. You have to be peaceful in yourself. And have you got any last words for people before we close off?
Thank you, Roy, for creating this podcast. I really enjoy what you're doing and what your mission is. And everyone just needs to develop a daily practice, whether it's just sitting alone for 5 minutes by yourself, just feeling what you're feeling and just noticing your experience. You don't have to become a great meditator or whatever. Just get in touch with yourself, take care of yourself, and find the tools that you need that help you, that resonate with you. And if my app is one of them, fine. If it's not, find something else that works for you.
Thank you. Thanks very much for coming on, Alan. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.